Hey there, my name is Eli. I lead the product design for Marky, and I'm here today to tell you about some updates that we've just released. Now, these updates are pretty big. We've been working on some of this stuff for about a month, so we're super excited to tell you about them today, and let's just jump right into it. So when I open a post, you'll notice something new pretty quick off the bat. There's a whole bunch of new icons at the top here. So in the past, Marky used to just have one version of a post. You would edit that post, you would edit the caption, edit the design, and then that same post would go out to all your socials. And it worked for the time being, but we've gotten feedback from customers. They want different sizes of the image for each social, and they sometimes want different captions so they can specialize it and specialize the wording to work well on each platform. So this new update is aimed to support that behavior. Now you'll still have that one version of the post, and that's the global version right here. But you'll also be able to edit the post for each platform that you have connected. So if you wanted, you could just use Marky like you were before, where you edit this post, edit this caption, and not have to worry about anything else. That single post would go out to all your socials. But now you have the option to create overrides. How does that work? Well, if you go to a specific platform, say I go into Pinterest, I can see what the post looks like for Pinterest on the right here. Each field has this little menu that says click to override. So I can click to override this, and now I'm editing this platform. In here, I could say there's a character limit on Pinterest, so I want to make it a little bit shorter. Marky automatically kind of helps you with all the different limits on posting, but if you want to have more control over it, you can go in here. Maybe I don't care about these hashtags for Pinterest, and maybe I don't need this big middle part. So I can edit it however I want, and now Pinterest will have overrides of the caption specifically for when this post goes out to Pinterest. If I go back to the global version, you'll notice it's unchanged. And if I look at some of these other platforms, you'll notice that these still have that big middle section. These are still pulling in from the global version of the post. But if I go to Pinterest, it has its own caption. Now, you also notice that the icon is purple. Whenever you create an override, say I override Instagram here, you'll notice that the icons turn purple for all the platforms that have overrides. That just is aimed to help make it a little bit easier for you to know which platforms have overrides. Now, there's a few other options. On top of just creating base overrides and manually editing, we've added a few ways to edit per social a little bit easier. So in the bottom here, you'll notice there's the quick edit button, and there's some AI tools here that we've had in the past, but there's a new one at the top here, and that's called Optimize for all platforms. What this does is take your original caption that you have written in the global field here, and it'll rewrite that caption and specialize it to each individual platform. So if I click that, it'll ask me if I want to proceed. I'll click optimize, and now Marky is looking at that original caption and running it through some AI prompting stuff to make it work super well for each platform. If I go into each of these, you'll notice that it's, Instagram might have more emojis, Pinterest is a little bit shorter, TikTok is also a little bit shorter, and they're each optimized for what works well on that platform. Now, that was for the caption, but what about the design? So we've added a button as well, a function to resize the design for every platform. So if you hover over this, it says resize for all platforms. I can click that, and it'll ask me if I want to proceed. I do. And now what it's doing is it's taking this base design and it's resizing it for the ratio that works best on each platform. So this will go through doing it for all our different platforms that are currently connected. And now I can click through and see Google Business is a little bit more of a landscape. Let's say we go to TikTok, you'll notice it's more horizontally resized, and so it's been resized for all the different platforms. So that's how the optimize for all platforms and resize for all platforms works. Now, if you ever want to do it just for one social, you can. You just go into that social that you want to work on, and then you can click in here, optimize for this platform, and it will rewrite the caption for this specific platform. So a refresher on global, it'll optimize for all platforms, but you can go into any specific platform and optimize it for this platform. Or you can also resize just for this platform. Now that's great, but say you want to have a little bit more control over how it decides to rewrite the caption, how it decides to resize the design. Well, you can do that. If you go out to your business and you go into your business settings, you'll notice that there's resize preferences and optimize preferences. In the resize preferences, you can choose how you want your post to get resized. So maybe for Facebook, I want it a little bit more landscape instead of square. I can set that. And now whenever I click that resize button, it's going to use these settings. Now that's similar with the optimize button. And you can set the prompts that the AI uses for each social. So you got a lot of control here. How it generally works is that there's this space prompt, which gets applied before each social prompt. And so basically it will feed in both the base prompt and the social specific prompt at the same time. And the base prompt provides the context on what the operation it is that it's doing. And then the social is how you want it to specifically write for that social. So say for Instagram, I want more emojis. I can add this extra, add more emojis, use thumbs up. Maybe I like that. Thumbs up emoji. And now whenever it specializes for Instagram, it's gonna have this, this guidance. I can also reset, which will reset it back to the default value. Now, one more thing that we've released in this update are a few new fields on posts. So at the bottom here, you'll notice that there's some new fields. There's title and link. And it will show you which platforms that field is used on. Now these fields only appear if you're currently publishing to a platform that supports those fields. So the title right here, I can see, okay, Pinterest and TikTok are using this title that I'm setting. I can change it however I want here, but also I can go into, say I want Pinterest to be different from TikTok. I can go in here and I can create an override on that title just like you do with the caption. I can click to override and edit that however I want. Same goes for the link. And also note that Google Business does have a CTA label option. So I can click in here to choose what kind of CTA I want to have on my Google Business post. And that's all the updates for this new release. We're super excited to be getting this out to you all. We're excited to see what you can do with this. And then also, this opens a lot of new options for Marky and the future of Marky. And even here, you could see how the resizing for platform and customizing the caption for each platform are super powerful. And this will just open the gateway for a flood of new features that we'll be able to release now that we have the support of customizing the post for each social. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll see you on the next one.